Hello, everyone, and welcome to my presentation, an evaluation of the Meta UI UX Design Certificate by yours truly, Anitra Thompson. All right. So in this presentation, I will first provide an overview of the online program that I completed. Then I'll explain the evaluation frameworks I use to analyze the program. After that, I will walk through my evaluation, focusing on both the course design and the learning experience. And I'll also provide recommendations for improvement. And then finally, I will conclude with my key takeaways from the evaluation per usual. All right. So the program I completed is the Meta UI UX Design Professional Certificate, this is offered by Coursera. So it is like a self-paced online program designed to introduce learners to the foundational and probably intermediate concepts in user experience design. This program it includes topics like user research, wireframing, prototyping and usability testing. And if you don't know what any of those mean, I did not know before I took the course either, but it was super neat to learn. And it is structured as a series of courses that build on top of each other. And that allows the learner to progressively develop their skills over that little bit of time. And each module typically includes video lectures, readings, quizzes, hands on projects, there was also a really cool thing at the end of each module, almost like I think they called it dialogue with the AI on there, and basically they would ask questions. The AI would prompt you and ask questions about what happened in that module, and even personalize it to the real world. So I thought that was super cool. It made the connection happen way better for me, at least. Um, and all of these projects are especially important because they do simulate, like I said, that real world UX or user design task. And that would be like creating the wireframes, like I said, which I learned to create that, and designing like little prototypes. And that was using tools like Figma, which again, I hadn't heard of it before this, but I know that my company, Cengage, hires a lot of UX designers. So I was just, I don't know, I wanted to see what it was like in ed tech. So it did give me a little bit of, I don't know, I got to dig into Figma for lack of better words. So I did like that. And overall, I would say the program design not only did teach these concepts, but it also helped learners build a portfolio because we got to dive into Figma and that can be used professionally. So I am super excited for that. So, for my personal experience, the program was pretty flexible, um, easy to access, which made it super manageable to complete alongside, all my other responsibilities, working full time, being a mom, being a dog mom as well, all of that. So, however, I think I did run into a few challenges, and particularly one is like when I had to learn Figma. In several cases, the instructions provided within the course weren't detailed enough for me to fully understand it or know how to complete certain tasks. And because of that, I actually had to rely on external resources like YouTube tutorials to actually complete the assignments. And it was kind of outdated as well. So that's another reason. As soon as they would put up anything, it would be outdated, and Figma did not look the same as it did in their videos. And I would say, while this definitely did help me learn, it also highlighted that there are gaps in the course design and the support. So the experience played a key role in how I actually evaluated the program using the frameworks that I discuss next. So, to evaluate the program, I use two frameworks that I think we're all very familiar with, which is Quality Matters and the Community of Inquiry Network. And Quality Matters focuses on course design, so specifically how well learning objectives, materials, and like different assessments are aligned. The Community of Inquiry framework focuses on the learning experience, so particularly through teaching, social presence, cognitive presence. And I chose these frameworks because they complement each other. And Quality Matters helps evaluate how the course is built. So while the Community of Inquiry helps evaluate how the course is experienced instead, so by learners instead of being built. So using both of these allows for a more like a comprehensive evaluation, probably. All right, and diving into my quality matters analysis. So, from that perspective, the program demonstrates pretty strong organization and structure. At least, I actually knew, what was coming next every time, and the content is presented in a logical sequence, of course, and each module builds on the previous knowledge. So your typical build, I would think, which supports just skill development along the way. And although it was clear there was also clear gaps, as I mentioned, in alignment. So in several cases, the instructions for projects weren't really detailed enough, which, like I said, made it difficult to connect the learning materials to the actual like assessment expectations. And this definitely reflects a big misalignment between instructional materials and assessments. So that is, a key principle in quality matters. And additionally, the course relies heavily on video based instruction without enough guided practice before learners are expected to complete the actual assignments independently. So that kind of made it a little difficult. And then lastly, some of the content and tools used in the course felt outdated, as I said. So, especially in a field like UX design that evolves so quickly, they definitely need to pay attention and keep up to date. And from a quality matters perspective, this would impact the relevance and effectiveness of the instructional materials, since, learners may not be engaging with the most current industry practices or tools. So, this can also definitely create a disconnect between what is taught in the course and what is actually expected in the real world UX environment. And I would say also this lack of the scaffolding can make it more difficult for learners to feel confident in applying what they learn. And it definitely made me feel not so confident. All right, now diving into community of inquiry or COI. The learning experiences both, again, so strengths and weaknesses here. So cognitive presence is strong because the course includes like these hands-on projects that require the learners to apply these concepts and then engage in the problem solving as well, especially with that AI. However, I would say teaching presence is kind of limited. They do use AI, and while the course provides structured content, there is like minimal actual instructor interaction or feedback. Even when you're getting feedback, it's more so peer feedback rather than from an instructor of any sort. And this can definitely create confusion, especially when instructors or instructions are unclear. So they do provide many videos with the host introducing or discussing the topic to make it appear, a little bit more personable. It's the same one every time, but that really isn't considered interaction in my eyes since it's so one-sided. And then also social presence is pretty weak. So, as there are probably limited opportunities for interaction, throughout the course, but they did have discussion boards that exist like after every module, but they're not actively used, which, reduces opportunities for that collaboration or engagement. My peers, that were reviewing, all the ones that were taking the course with me, were literally just posting their comments that just contained like a period, and that's it to meet like the text requirement to move on to the next module. So nothing, no real collaboration there. And overall, I would say the course does support independent learning, but lacks like strong interaction or support. So again, the key issues that I identified in the evaluation include unclear project instructions, limited interaction, a lack of support for learning tools, and these issues impact both the design quality and the overall learning experience. So they also highlight the importance of alignment, teaching presence, and support in online learning environments. We definitely need that there. So to improve the program, I think several changes could be made. First, clearer and more detailed instruction should be provided to improve alignment between materials and assessments. Second, adding like guided practice or scaffolded assignments would help learners build that confidence before completing like the big major assignments, which I lacked completely there. And third, increasing teaching presence throughout like feedback or examples would provide better support. We did have AI, but it would be really nice to actually have someone like in the field that could interact with us and teach us a little bit. And then finally, integrating like tutorials for tools like Figma directly into the course would reduce like the need for my external resources to help improve that overall learning experience. Oh, and honorable mention, they need to update to reflect like the current tools on top of that. So they definitely need updated current videos of how to apply these tasks if they're going to be involved, at least in the major project at the end. All right. And now into my conclusion. So overall, the Meta UI UX design professional certificate it provides a strong foundation in UX design and even emphasizes like the practical application as well. But this evaluation shows that the effective online learning, or sorry, that effective online learning requires more than just like structure. It requires clear alignment, meaningful interaction, and strong instructional support, and where it was clearly lacking. So, using both Quality Matters and the Community of Inquiry framework really highlights how design and experience must actually work together to support the learning. And this experience really reinforced for me the importance of intentional course design and then, of course, also continuous improvement in online education as well. All right. So here are my references. Again, you can go to my website and click on the slides, and you'll be able to actually click on the links. And that is all, folks. Thank you so much.